Today we thought we'd talk about an active fence and how you can use that in a conflict in the street, how effective it can be to lull the opponent into a false sense of security, but also give you that sort of opportunity for a situation to de-escalate and not come into a physical conflict. So if we've got someone that's been quite aggressive, they've probably got a bit of a distance here to start with. Might be having some sort of verbal altercation. It might be in a car park situation or something, but this person's clearly not happy with you. So you're going to want to try and keep your hands up. You do want to have your hands higher than them, just in case they do all of a sudden launch forward or something. At least you've got your hands up. You don't want to have your hands down here saying, "Oh, what's your problem, mate?" And they can, your reactions are too slow to be able to protect and cover yourself. So with the active fence, you kind of want to give the perception that you're really scared and you're quite timid. I try and use that my smaller size to my advantage. So I shrink down a bit and my hands are out and I'm sort of moving my hands around. I'm not just down here standing like this. I've put my shoulders up. I'm a bit very passive and submissive. My hands are up. I might be shuffling around going, "Oh, it's okay, mate. What's the problem? I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to hit your car." Moving off sideways to the angles, so he doesn't know what's going on or where I'm going to be exactly all the time. But my hands can be moving around. They don't just need to be right out in front. So if the situation keeps on escalating and the opponent or the other person's getting quite aggressive, that's when you can say, "Oh, it's all right, mate. I don't want to fight. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry. If you take that step back with using those verbal cues, your hands are still up, creating a bit of distance there. If this person really wants to cause damage, they're going to fill in that void. If they decide to walk off, doesn't matter what sort of words they're saying back to you, at least it hasn't gone into a sort of physical confrontation. But you've given that sort of option for him to either walk away or feel the pain. So hands are up, you've got an active fence, might be offline. I'm quite balanced, I'm quite stable. I've dropped my shoulders up and I've dropped my chin down just in case he catches me off guard. But if I take that step back, I'm in a sort of basic fighter stance, but I create that distance. So if he does step in, hand just shoots straight into a bit of palm strike to the face. Then I can go to the groin, into the knee into the groin, and then back into the face again. So this is our basic offensive sequence number one, which is the palm, knee, and palm. But it needs to come off that fence. I'm a pretty nice guy. I don't want to just come up to someone if they're a bit upset and smash them in the face. I do want to give them the opportunity to be able to escape or, let the situation simmer down. But if it does come to that, hands are up, chin's down, shoulders are up, giving it a way out. Doesn't take that, causes that, comes in too close, palm, knee, palm.
We have heard other martial artists talk about this fence, and they explain there's a million different ways of being able to do it. This is just one way, and it's a very good perception, especially if you're not the type of person that is an aggressive person or whatever. This is a really good way of being able to make the person, if they're being aggressive towards you, lull them into that sort of false sense of, "Oh, I'm already bigger and stronger than you." Hopefully it's going to give them the reaction to be able to just walk away. And so yeah, and like I said, the other martial artists have talked about, say, a good person having a bad day or just a bad person. So a good person having a bad day is what we've talked about by Ben taking that step back. Now allows me, if I'm a good person, I might be blowing off steam, but there's no reason for me to yell and scream and get right up in his face to do it. Because if I get up in his face to do it, if I'm the type of person that does this, I'm really not a good person anyway. I'm the type of person that probably deserves to be put back in their place. So a good person having a bad day does not need to do that. So that's what we're talking about here. And if you notice, when Ben was doing the active fence, he would not just stand directly in front of me. He always moved either to that side, and what that allows him to be able to do is see any other potential enemies, or it makes me, if he moves to the left, I have to move to the left. If he moves to the right, I have to move to the right. And then, because if he stays directly in front of me, I can set myself up to give him the big shot. But if he's moving, I'm going, hang on a minute, and it starts simmering the situation down.
Yeah, it causes them to have to think a bit more too. You know, most situations people aren't thinking very clearly, so they're very focused and they've got a very narrow frame of mind. So if you cause them to say, oh, what's this guy doing? He's all over the place. You know, that might be enough to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to calm down now and take that step back. But if you just hear in the face, then that might be enough as a cue for that person to strike you. But also creating that distance too gives you the opportunity. All right, there's the line in the sand. You know, if he does cross it, then clearly I'm in danger and I need to protect myself.
And the good person having the bad day thing is it's a really good thing, because it's given that person who is maybe having a bad day, you don't know whether their wife's just died, their kids have died, they've had an accident, that you just don't know. So it's giving them an opportunity to be able to walk away with their dignity still, and you're not worried about what words I'm saying, because words mean nothing.
Yeah,
words aren't going to hurt you.
The body language of the person in front of you, and you know, they might be saying, "Oh, no worries, mate, it's all fine," and then you go to turn around and they've kicked you from behind. So you don't know. And also that first initial strike, it can be many things. It doesn't have to be the palm knee palm. It might be a jab, a big cross. Could be a kick to the shin. Doesn't really matter. You'll train that in different circumstances, and whatever way comes out at the time is probably the one that you're most comfortable with.
And many different systems have their own self-defense against different things, isn't it?
Yeah.
So whatever you learn to train, this is just another aspect you can bring into it about working the fence.
But it is that that time when do I use the preemptive strike? When is it okay? So this is one way that gives you a really clear indication of, all right, there's a line in the sand. I've stepped back. I've given him an opportunity. He hasn't taken it. Now it's okay to preemptive strike if you feel like you're in danger.
Yep. Very good.
Cool.